Things to know before visiting Rio de Janeiro. 1. When to visit. Brazil is the perfect destination to visit all year round, due to its proximity to the equator. Rio's seasons are those of the southern hemisphere, which means the hottest months are from November to March, while temperatures cool down from April to October. During the winter, June to August, you might get hit with some cold, windy, gray weather, but it's usually blissfully broken up by sunshine and 26 degrees Celsius, 79 degrees Fahrenheit, beach days. 2. Public transport. Rio de Janeiro is a massive city, and even sticking to the tourist parts, you will definitely need to use some public transport to get around. While some areas are walkable, it's not always safe to do so, and you may spend more of your time getting between spots than really seeing it. The metro system is incredibly reliable, cheap, and safe. Although it doesn't cover every part of the city, where you can use it, I would definitely recommend doing so. 3. Ubers. If you want to get somewhere faster than with public transport, or if it's later at night and you want to be safe, Uber works better here than I've ever seen before. 4. Scooters. Rio de Janeiro has 2 major electric scooter companies, Lime and Yellow. They are the perfect hop-on, hop-off option to get between spots, especially if you're on the beach or in cycle lanes. 5. Rio does have a higher crime rate than most other cities in Brazil, but as long as you follow the following safety tips and use your common sense, you should be fine. Don't go around wearing expensive or flashy jewelry. Heard experiences of people getting their necklaces and earrings yanked off. Don't wander the streets and beaches very late at night, especially alone. If you do go out at night, stay with the crowd and keep close attention to your phone and wallet. Do not leave your personal items unattended on the beach. Tourist places like the Christ Redeemer, Sugarloaf Mountain, etc. were very safe and guarded. Avoid going to places like the favelas, impoverished houses on the hillside, where the gangs have more control over the government. Overall, Rio is generally a safe place if you are careful. 6. Where to stay in Rio. You will be pretty safe booking a place to stay in the South Zone, closer to the beach, Ipanema, Leblon, Copacabana, etc. Things to do when visiting Rio de Janeiro. 1. Museum of Tomorrow. Cost: 20 reais. It's an interactive and visually pleasing representation of the world and how the humans in it have an impact. There is a big focus on environmental sustainability and what we need to do now to protect the world of tomorrow. 2. The Centro Cultural Banco do Brasil. The Centro Cultural Banco do Brasil is a bank that hosts art exhibits, a theater, and cinema. Whether art is your thing or not, this is a great hidden gem, even if just to see inside the gorgeous bank building itself. 3. Surfing. Cost: 50 reais. Rio de Janeiro is a world-famous surf spot, and as soon as you arrive, it's easy to see why. There are many breaks along the coast, including at Arpoador Rock on the far end of Ipanema. For beginners, you don't have to look far for board rental and lessons from beach vendors and local surf shops along Ipanema and Copacabana. 4. Paddleboarding. Paddleboarding is an excellent way to get out on the sea, regardless of your experience or skill. How choppy tide is will determine the challenge, and expect to feel the workout in your legs the next day for sure. 5. Sunset at Arpoador Rock. Speaking of Arpoador Rock, whether surfing is your thing or not, it's always a fun spectator sport. Have an obligatory caipirinha from a local vendor, watch the surfers in the water, and the sunset over the gorgeous bay of Rio de Janeiro. 6. Christ the Redeemer. No list of what to do in Rio de Janeiro would be complete without mentioning the iconic Christ the Redeemer, Cristo Redentor. This towering statue of Christ sits on top of Corcovado Mountain, protecting the entire city. 7. Sugarloaf Mountain, another iconic site of Rio de Janeiro and an absolute must-to-do for any visit to Rio. If you haven't seen Rio de Janeiro's skyline, then a trip up Sugarloaf Mountain on the cable car should be top of your list of what to do in Rio. 8. Jardim Botânico. Right in the center of Rio lies a gigantic botanical gardens. The botanical gardens in Rio are a magical escape from the noise of the city and beaches. 9. Copacabana and Ipanema Beach. The beach isn't just a tourist hub in Rio, it's the way of life. Copacabana and Ipanema beaches are different in location, but similar in many ways. All the beaches along the Rio City are marked by posto numbers. This is the lifeguard huts and a useful point for orientating yourself in the city. Decimo, Lagoa Rodrigo de Freitas. Lagoa Rodrigo de Freitas sits between the beach and the mountains within Rio, and it's the hub of the city for runners, cyclers, walkers, and everyone else too. Overall, Rio de Janeiro is a vibrant city in Brazil, famed for its stunning beaches like Copacabana, the iconic Christ the Redeemer statue, and the lush peaks of Sugarloaf Mountain. Known as the home of samba and the world-famous carnival, it pulses with energy, culture, and music. With its breathtaking landscapes and lively spirit, Rio offers an unforgettable experience for every visitor. Also, check the description below. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe.